Hey, everybody, thanks for joining me today. With me today on my episode of the Mark My Words podcast is Andrew Meyer. Andrew is the founder and CEO of Vermont Natural Coatings. Vermont Natural Coatings is in a cool little niche. About a decade ago, maybe a little bit more, they discovered through a project that the founder was working on, being funded by a university at the time. They came across a whey-based resin. Whey is like a Little Miss Muffet sitting on her tuffet, right? Whey is the byproduct of the cheese-making process. And up in Vermont, there are a lot of cheesemakers. And so whey is a readily accessible product. And they were able to, from this byproduct, they were able to make a resin that, interestingly enough, had a lot of properties that people find attractive in coatings resins. It did not require a strong solvent as its solvent. You can use water. It has no heavy odors. It plays nicely with the other products that are in the can and enables Vermont Natural Coatings to use other, also less sensitive and less chemically sensitive items because of how accommodating this product is as a resin. And in fact, on top of it all, it's in fact harder than traditional coatings. And so they've had some success in this space. Dealers do have success in this space. Products that are better for the earth, that are better for the environment, that are better for the users as they apply them. These products are doing better and better. And as more and more dealers put up e-commerce sites, and as more and more stores, whether they be independent dealers or Sherwin-Williams and Home Depot, as more and more business goes towards these sites, these types of products are going to, in my opinion, going to continue to grow. I think this niche is going to continue to grow. I think that consumer that I'm describing, that DIY consumer who we're all hoping to get shopping in our stores via our websites, I think that consumer is really interested in this space. And I think that there's a lot of data that shows that. And so let's give Andrew a listen and let's hear what he has to say. And as always, like, subscribe, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. Let me know what you think about the work I'm doing. I'd love to hear from you guys. And let me know if there's any other topics you want to hear about. I'd love to make some content for you. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining me today. With me today is the founder, the president, and the foreman of the forklift driving union at Vermont Natural Coatings, Andrew Meyer. Andrew, how are you today?
Great, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So you guys are in the northeast corner of Vermont, is that right?
Yeah, we're up as far northeast as you can get.
And still be American. You could go further north.
We're not far from the Canadian border and within an hour's drive of 5 great ski mountains.
And so why don't you tell us a little bit of the history of Vermont Natural Coatings? I've been a retailer for my entire career, going back to the 80s. You guys were not in the market at the beginning. And so I know you're fairly new onto the scene, maybe a decade or so. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's about right. I grew up in northeastern Vermont, the same town that we have our factory here, on a dairy farm, and went to the University of Vermont and ended up on Capitol Hill working on agricultural environmental policies for a United States senator. And part of that work that I did was sort of investigating research opportunities for Vermont to add value to agricultural products. And with that, we started funding opportunities and research at the University of Vermont. And a professor there was looking at using whey proteins and was...
Whey as in curds and whey, the byproduct of cheese.
Well, the byproduct of cheese, which is a byproduct of my friend back here,
right?
Who makes the great milk that makes the great cheese that we convert into whey, that we used as a polymer to create these formulas. And
I actually saw, excuse me one second, I saw just today on TikTok, a very funny TikTok about how cows are mistreated in the United States. Not only do we kill them and eat them for steak, we take their milk, we eat veal, which is their babies. And so not only do we kill the babies, but we actually eat the milk that was intended for the babies. And then when our children go missing, we take pictures of them and put them on milk cartons as the ultimate insult to the cow. So,
well, Mark, we have strong partnerships with our cows.
yes.
And we treat them very nicely. And because of that, they give us great milk and some of the best cheese in the world, which translates obviously into great whey. And that whey, the professor at the University of Vermont was starting to research and work with whey as a polymer to create a flexible film. And what he noticed is that he could create a very flexible, strong film with using the whey as a polymer. And from there, we
when you say polymer, that's the resin package, right?
That's right. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Typically, when you build a formula, you have different additives that you put in for different characteristics. I mean, one of the great advantages that we found with using the whey as a polymer is that we could displace other chemicals that are typically found. So not only could we make the product as strong or stronger than conventional products, we could make it safer. So with that, the university, I had been on the Hill for quite a while and wanted to get home. So I partnered with the University of Vermont and I purchased the license agreement on this technology and built a facility here in Hardwick, Vermont, and started to scale up using that technology to the point where we built an initial line of clears, started selling into the local retail network in about 2008.
And that was your first products were the clears, right?
Yeah, we started with our floor and our furniture clears. We've grown a long way since then, and I miss the old days of simplicity.
Right, just having one product to make.
Right. We started off on the right foot because those two products were just far advanced as far as the technology and the durability and the safety, and the ease of use. And that time that we came into the market, there was a lot of skepticism of water-based products and how they were used or how their ease of use
and their durability were some of the initial concerns as well.
So we kind of skipped what was the water-based and we started focusing on competing with some of the solvent-based products. And that was our goal, is to create water-based products that were as high quality and durable as the conventional products on the market. So we launched that in 2008. Kind of a tough year to go into the building industry, but not knowing what the market was like, we felt like we were in a pretty good position and started to build our network of independent dealers.
And so now your line is more than just the clears now, right? Give me a little indication of exactly sort of the breadth of your product line.
Yeah, so we've added a couple of number of different lines to complement our interior clears. We have an all-in-one stain and finish with a number of colors. We also have an exterior system, a waterproofing system, and a penetrating stain system that is doing very well. We have several partners with those products.
And that's all based on this same resin, this whey protein or some sort of alternative to an acrylic or petroleum-based resin.
Right. So we always try to start with our base of using the whey protein because it complements a lot of things in what makes up a formulation. And so we incorporate that in most of our products. We have, through some experiments and innovation, we've come up with some new technologies as well. So we've really focused on our dealer network, and we've also added some professional floor finish products that are out there. And we've also been fortunate. One of the things that's made this sort of journey kind of fun for someone who is not a chemist, who didn't grow up in the coatings industry, is we kind of have to be innovative to compete in this industry. We have to be a little bit willing to experiment and risk things to put new products on the market. And one of the things that we've really enjoyed is listening to the market and responding. And that's some of the great things about working with some of our independent dealers. When they give you feedback on the type of products that they want, that they don't have, that just makes us run. And we
Right.
love to hear from professionals in the field or contractors or independent dealers who are walking their shelves or stocking their shelves, that they wish they had a product that did this. And when they say that, and we listen to them, we go right to work and put together formulations and products that are trying to meet their needs and beyond. It makes things very interesting for us.
So you had mentioned that you guys entered the professional flooring market. Did you do that with the same dealers that you have? Do you have two different types of dealers? What is it that you look for in a dealer?
Well, with our foundation is built on independent dealers, and our goal
These are mostly
from the
paint
beginning,
dealers, right?
mostly paint dealers, hardware stores. We do the best when we partner. We treat it more as a partnership with a dealer, where we hope that we're not just another product on the shelf, but we're meeting a need for them and supplying them with something that helps them grow as well. That's also not only what sells on the shelves, but also how we build relationships, and that's an really important part for us. So, focusing on our independent dealer network is kind of our main goal. We also develop some products, though, that are in another category that sell in flooring distribution networks.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what caused the question, because when you said that, I wonder if this is the same customer.
Yeah. No, it's
independent dealers, but in two channels you guys are serving.
Yeah, two channels. One channel is the professional contractor channel, where they'll come into a professional floor distributor who it's more like a warehouse, and pros come in to buy their flooring materials and their floor finishes. It's a little different program than your hardware store and your paint store. So we have two different products that fit both of those categories.
And our paint dealers, because that's primarily who listens to this podcast, our paint dealers, do they have access to the professional flooring products as well?
Yeah,
or is that a separate?
It's intended to be separate, but it really goes back to how a dealer provides or what their customer base might be. For a dealer who has strong contractor presence for flooring contractors, then we make this product available to them. It's one of those things that sort of what's the best need for that dealer?
Right.
What's their program? Do they sell to professional floor finishers? And if they do, we can make those products available to them.
Right. And you guys have an interesting connection to paint as well. I think I'd mentioned to you on our prep call a couple of weeks ago that I had done a project with C2, and so your name came up, or the name of your company came up. You guys make a resin for them, is that right? For one of their branded products?
Early on, I was introduced to some of the C2 dealers as, when we were seeking out sort of those high quality, independent thinking, innovative dealers. C2 was like the top of our list. And we started working with the independent dealers, and they're as you know, they're a little different in how they work, but we found that they were very receptive to innovation, very receptive to trying new things. And because of that collaborative approach with these dealers, we were able to sit down and throw ideas on the table to really with the goal of making the highest quality cabinet and trim paint. And the way we worked it is we were able to incorporate the Polyway technology into that paint, and it just transformed the paint. And it's one of the nicest, best to work with, highest quality paints you can find. And we were
That's
really
the
happy.
C2 cabinet and trim we're talking about with the Polyway added.
Yep. It's C2 cabinet and trim with Polyway, and it's a great product.
I know dealers. Yeah, I know a number of dealers that have that product, and they all say the same thing to me, that it's a dynamite product.
Yeah, and we as a startup company in this new industry, having them as a resource, being able to get feedback, get advice on where and how we should grow in this market was just probably one of the biggest assets that we had, and just strengthen our commitment to focusing on the independent dealer. Because at the end of the day, they're running small businesses just like us. The more we can collaborate and, create experiences and products that meet their customer needs, that's the greatest partnership we can have.
And so how do you grow in this channel? More products coming for you, or more distribution deeper into the channel? How do you continue to add to the successes that you've had already?
Yeah, well, as you know, this industry is pretty concentrated industry and competitive industry. We're introducing new products. We're really trying to respond and stay ahead of what we think is going to be on the shelves in the coming years,
Right.
with a real emphasis on safety, but also we're shifting to resins that are more plant-based and a more engaging with addressing climate change, but at the same time producing products that are easier to use and continue to be durable. So with that, we've gone out and we've made other partnerships. We partnered with a company from Switzerland called Bohm, and that
I know Bohm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an incredible technology. It's a hybrid oil technology that we've been able to partner with, and now we produce their products under our co-brand for the U.S. market, and those products, it's an entirely new category of stains, and mostly exterior stains, hybrid oils, aging stains for trim, siding, decks. Lots of incredible potential with that technology to offer that as well. So
growing the product offering, there's still more to come with this technology that you guys have developed and have access to, is what you're saying. There's a broader range of products than what's available now, and there's more to come.
It's kind of one of our advantages and faults. We are constantly introducing and creating new products. We've just introduced a new product that mimics oil, solvent oil. With it reacts with the tannins in the woods and creates a real rich oil look, but it's waterborne. And that's a product we're introducing. Got a UV.
When you say it creates a rich look, you're talking about that amber sort of warm feeling that most people get from the older clears.
Right. Clears and solvent-based products. You find a lot of customers they still want that rich, deep oil look. And a lot of times it's hard to get that with a water base. So we're working with a new resin technology that reacts with the tannins in the wood and gives it that rich look. So you can have this rich look with no smell, safe product. And it's one of the products that helps, the consumer who has been a solvent-borne user for years and years and years.
Right.
And
particularly with clears. Yeah, I was going to say they're still alive because with clears, unlike with paints, 20 years ago, the low VOC, 15 years ago, the low VOC paints eclipsed the quality that was available in an alkyd or a solvent-based paint, right? And so it was very easy for consumers to say, we're going to just adopt. In fact, when you talk about like broad wall coatings, consumers adopted probably closer to 40 years ago, water-based paints, but the enamels and in your market, the clears had been very tough, and the paint companies only conquered the enamels, I'll say, in the last 10 or 15 years. And still nobody has, in my opinion, replaced the quality of an alkyd. It sounds to me like you feel like you guys are getting close, but on clears, we haven't really seen that in the market yet.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that drives us, is really trying to build these products safer and safer and safer. And it's been interesting being sort of new to this field. You feel like you're building something you want to use yourself, or you'd want to use within your own home. So there's certain parameters that we just have baseline, and that's, we don't use mutagens or repotoxins or carcinogens. All our products are one component. We just make it a mandate that we don't add those ingredients to the products, which creates a safer product overall for the homeowner, for the user, and I think what we're finding, and the planet, and we haven't even tapped that yet in the market, of the importance of climate change and some of those things that go into all these products. And there's a lot of coatings that are sold each year. So what we really hope is that where we find the most success is that when we find an independent dealer who feels like there's not just a product on the shelf, but a story on the shelf. Not just the story, but a segment to a customer that they may not have had in their store, or they've had in their store the whole time and they didn't realize that they were looking for a green product.
Right.
And that's where I think there's tons of opportunity, and where we see our growth is not so much getting bigger as far as like market wise, but getting better within the stores that we're in. Because I'd take any great independent dealer over a handful of just random stores, because when you make these partnerships, that's really what we strive for, and what we really focus on.
And so you've mentioned a couple of times, products that you're working on for the coming years. Can you talk a little bit about what a paint dealer is going to see differently from products like yours in the next 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, well, a lot of our stores and dealers only carry a fraction of our products that we actually have. So we hope that in the coming couple of years, we can introduce more of the products that we make into the stores. We're excited about. We also, we're working on some technologies for concrete. We may be getting a little ahead, but we have an amazing plant-based resin technology that we're working on that makes an incredible paint base. And with the combination of our whey and the paint and using the plant-based resins, there's tons of potential with new products in that category. We definitely want our products to slide into the market as consumers get more aware of the dangers of some of the things that are even in the water-based products. There's a difference between safe water and water. But one thing that we know we need to do, and which is our baseline, we have to make products that work well. There's no room for a small company to introduce products that aren't the top-notch products on the market.
Well, I would tell you all the small manufacturers, and I've dealt with a number of them in the course of my career, you tell them all basically the same thing. If your product is not better than what's available, don't bother making it. Right. Save your money.
Yeah, and we know that, and that's why we hope that we can build on our dealer network, because, and again, once our products are on the shelves and people use them, we resell, which is important to a dealer too.
With that cow behind you, don't you think you should have said we really move? We
move. We do things the right way. Yeah.
I'm okay with cutting that out. Not every joke gets a laugh, by the way, just so as you know. When you're a comedian, you're used to the audience just laying there deadpan on you.
No, it's we have a lot of fun with using whey and a lot of jokes. There's different factors of jokes, but I don't mind the jokes. I think the more you can open up a dialogue with somebody, we tend to send cheese to our dealers as a welcome, and let them sort of taste, where we come from.
Taste the early stages of the whey making process, right?
That's right.
Don't drink our clear polyurethane, but 2 weeks ago, this is what it tasted like.
That's right. So, and again, in this part of Vermont, we have, there's an amazing movement of local foods and, green products. And part of that is whether it's a distillery, a new beer maker, or a new food product, or a new type of cheese. It's kind of all interrelated with us. It makes it fun. It makes it more interesting to do business.
Craft manufacturing, while each one of the manufacturers may be in a niche, craft manufacturing is no longer a niche. It's billions of dollars in this country. Yeah. And consumers are always looking for things that are made closer to home, if that's the type of product that it is, or made in safer, with safer raw materials, if that's the type of product it is, like a coating. And so that is on consumers' minds. And particularly as your independent dealers are adopting more and more e-commerce platforms, that's going to be more in front of the customer because other companies that are on e-commerce platforms are putting it out there because that's what's on the consumer's mind. And so I think you guys are in a good spot. I think that you're going to continue to see growth in this segment. And so I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, thanks. I've noticed in the last 10 years there's been an amazing movement toward organic foods or healthier foods within conventional supermarkets. And you can't go into a supermarket today without walking down at least 2 or 3 aisles of healthy food or organic food. And, the same customer will walk in one of those stores and walk out and walk into a hardware store.
That's
right. They're looking for the same experience. We really enjoy is when we can make the connection with an independent dealer, a hardware store, paint store, when they say, "Oh, we don't have green customers." And you look around and you ask them, "Well, what do you have for green products?" And they say, "We don't have any green products." And then you do the math and you say, "Well, they just walked out of the supermarket and went down the organic line, bought the highest quality whatever product, then walked into your store." And that's where when you're looking at the same type of customer, there's tons of potential to offer these type of products through hardware store.
And more than just zero VOC, there can be more to the story than just zero VOC. And I think, in fact, your products, one of the things that I like about your products, I was not a dealer of when I had my stores. I always liked the line. I looked at it once or twice. We were in, Bronx, New York. We did not sell a lot of just wood finishes just in general. Right. But one of the things that I like about your product is that it fits in to the genre well, right? Independent retailers are looking, their customers are people who are looking for products that a little more touch is involved in selling it. A little more understanding is involved in selling it. In fact, that's why they're in your stores. If they just wanted to go pay a quick $40 and get in and out fast, they would have probably gone to Home Depot. The reason they're in your store is they're looking for a better shopping experience, and the better products are part of that better shopping experience as well. So good for you guys for finding that little niche.
Yeah. And we have some of the smallest stores in the most rural areas where you wouldn't think that you'd have such a customer. Some of our best stores are in those areas. Once they find it, and once the store embraces that this is an experience, a category that they're going to offer. It's fun. It's really, that's what makes this probably the most fun, is when we see, those type of partnerships grow.
Right, like an unusual retailer all of a sudden is selling a couple $100,000 worth of clear.
It's amazing.
Right? That's very cool. Well, that's a great way. We're kind of near the end of our time. That's a great way to end it on a success story like that. Is there anything you feel like we missed, Andrew, or did we get it all?
No, I love the opportunity to. I love visiting with other entrepreneurs and other business owners, and I learn a lot when I can visit with an owner of a retail store, dealer. Even if you're not buying our products, love to visit and get your feedback on what you're seeing in the market and what products you think would be good for us to focus on in the coming years.
Well, why don't you, before we let you go, why don't you tell retailers how they can reach out to you if they do want to talk to you?
Sure, that would be great. You can always find our information on our website at vermontnaturalcoatings.com, Vermont spelled out, naturalcoatings.com, or feel free to give us a ring, and we'd love to visit on the phone. You can call us at 802-472-8700, or in any one of those social media gizmos that are out there. You can probably link into us, but we'd love to visit anytime. Love to visit about our products in your store.
Terrific. Well, Andrew Meyer, CEO, founder, and chief forklift driver at Vermont Natural Coatings. Thank you very much for being on my podcast today. I really feel like I learned a lot about your company, and you guys are really doing some cool stuff. So keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you, Mark.